report.
Okay. I call the meeting to order of the City of Laredo Fine Arts and Culture Commission. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And you do roll call.
Yes, sir. Julio Mendez,
Here.
Armando Lopez,
Present.
Carlos Abraham Flores, Gil Aker Rodriguez,
Present.
Jesse Shaw, absent. Dr. Martha Villarreal, Dr. Pauline Campbell, absent. We have a quorum.
Okay. Do we have any citizens coming tonight?
No, but I'll wait about 15 minutes.
Okay. You have before you the reading and approval of the minutes of the October 21st, 2021 meeting. If you've all had a chance to review them, I'll entertain a motion. Moved by Martha, second by Julio. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ooh, no, any nays? No. Okay, matter. Minutes approved. Communications and announcements? None. Okay, good. Move straight. Arts Master Plan.
Should we do the presentation by Tom first?
We could, if you want to move that up. Go ahead.
Or are they waiting?
Well, they're there. I don't know but you can make a motion to move that on.
Yeah, I hear a motion to move up the presentation by
I
Mr.
move that we move Tony's presentation.
And we didn't put you in citizens' comments because then we would have limited you to 3 minutes. So you have no.
My father, if I like to. Years ago, I was trying to chase this from Laredo. I returned. I was been gone since '85, but I returned back this past 6 years ago. I wanted to do this mural a long time ago, but back then there was no cultural arts committee. Everything that I grew up with is basically from what I remember, and a little bit of stuff that's now. Now the wall that I wanted to paint on, because this is actually 9 feet by 135, but unfortunately I painted another mural on that one last year. So right now, basically, I'm just looking for funding to paint this one. But it's just the funding now. See if they can help me fund it.
What district is it in?
It's in district, Alisa's district. Okay.
Oh, okay, because it's always possible that she has discretionary funds
Yeah.
that could be used for a mural. Because right now, I don't know that we have any funds. This committee does.
Once the master arts plan,
Goes into
if the
effect.
city council approves it, each council is going to get some funding, and it's up to them to decide how to.
Okay.
So we still.
To go out for call for artists.
Oh, okay.
And what's the price?
because of the height, the wall's actually 20 feet high. It wouldn't actually be for labor and materials and everything. I would say probably about 45,000, roughly. It could be a little bit more.
And you said
Bernardo, if you know where La Quinta is at,
yes.
the backside faces San Bernardo. So they have this huge wall back there.
Where?
On San Bernardo, on La Quinta, the motel. There's a huge wall. It's 20 feet high because it's 2 stories. The only reason I would like to lift it off the ground is because they park cars there, so that way no matter if they be difficult for somebody to.
So this is a private property?
Yes. No, it's not
Do you
I
have
know
permission?
people.
Do you have permission from the?
No. Let's say if you guys would say yeah, or somebody would say yeah, then I would approach them. Considering Laredo, I know people that work there, so from what they've told me, they're like really positive that they would probably say yes. Because there's new owners. They just bought the property, or bought the property for somebody else.
Would you be doing this by yourself, or will you?
I would probably have my team. And because of the insurance that I carry, just, I wouldn't be able to like volunteers and stuff like that.
Right.
Because you would have to get up above 7 feet, And I could, but then my insurance goes up. I have general contractor's insurance.
I'm not aware, but just to clarify, does the city have a policy about doing murals on private property?
I would believe so.
It does.
That was the grants,
It has, you need to get permission from the owner of the wall. I
Hi, guys.
Hi.
The city, not allowed to be funded through those funds. But in this case, this is where, we're trying to hopefully get the hot tax funding. And with the hot tax funding, then there would be able to be grants on private property. And I feel like, if it's on a La Quinta, then that's great because that is a site where tourists will be. And so it seems like that would be a good fit for a grant. But the city's not there yet. In the future, the duties and role of the commission is not a funding. More responsible for oversight of the future grants process and artist selection process for CIP funds.
Cultural district, because the designation that allows us to apply for grants through the Texas Art Commission.
Well, the city cannot apply for it. The ones that would have to apply will be any kind of group
Right.
that is associated with the, like Cultivarte and stuff like that, they can actually approach it. But they have to ask or request funding for half of their, their total funding.
So it's a matching.
To be done, through Cultivate, in order to be able to do it, if they were willing to help. I don't know if we would be able to do it, that's something that I would have to research with.
if you
the rest of
recall, the
board.
mural arts grant was on.
Okay, well,
I was having a hard time hearing who knows what district that the hotel is in, but depending on the district that it's in,
I think it's
if
district.
that council member still has some unspent funds, 8, well, and there are unspent funds
Yes.
in District 8, so that could be something that maybe could be taken to the council member and see if she would from the previous year. And it's probably better to get that sorted out before the cultural arts plan is adopted, because once it's adopted, then everything's gonna have to go through that process. So that would be my recommendation, to trying to get it done, sooner rather than later. And, so not having to wait for a process put in place for that.
Well, Tony, we encourage you to, I don't know if you.
No, I will. No, like I said, I'm knocking on doors, so.
And
But it's
Mr.
good,
Mayor,
but even though I got a lot of information right now.
what is the other mural that you said you did similar to this?
At Valdez Junior Park, right there on Lion and San Francisco.
Yeah.
This was originally for that, but the funding for this one never really came to fruition, so I ended up when Risk came out and said, hey, we got funding, so they needed a quick wall, and I called them.
It's the Monarch.
Okay,
All right.
so thank you very much.
Thank you.
So
And
they-
feel free to,
If you all wanna look at it,
I
it's
would.
really,
I would
it's
too.
The
nice.
commissioner on that number 8.
There's a lot of things
Alicia,
that
Alicia,
we all
number 8.
recognize and.
It's the other way around on the days.
Okay.
No, that tree's not. So,
What's
52.
there was a tree there at one point,
Hi.
at for the Monarch,
Oh.
but they ended up. It's a little bit of Laredo. You got you got the lake, and then you got the
Sunbelt.
San Bernardo Cruz, and the Carnaval. Yes.
And you said it's going to be 8 feet high by,
No, that's 9 feet. Well, so I can either center it, I can elongate it more, or I can enlarge it. So, but if, like, let's say if it stays this, you're talking 9 feet by 135 feet. If it's 20 feet, then there's room for it to go off the ground, just to avoid vandalism, and that way everybody can see it.
I love it.
I bet you could be very colorful, right?
My OCD, it doesn't allow me to put color on things yet, because once I'm there, like that car could be red and I could change it to green because I need to balance it with.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Remember, COVID is still out there, so you gotta be careful.
Yes.
You're just as busy as the other ones are.
Yes.
It's a little bit.
Well, see, that was the thing, since the skater,
Oh, I think it's great.
but I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying.
So
Thank
just,
you.
and we're here on behalf. Work with them to get the funding.
Let me put it on.
There's a lot of tourists. Motel tax?
Yeah,
Yes.
but we're not there yet either.
So, just, I'm I'm trying to be an advocate for the mural that's at the plaza. Yes, that's been there for over 50 years.
I know.
And I've been hearing rumors that they're gonna paint it, somebody's gonna go paint over it.
It's so retro, it's beautiful.
And so I would suggest to restore it properly, like the way they restore the frescoes.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
All right, moving back to the regular agenda. Item A is the Public Arts Master Plan.
Sure.
I took your check.
Sorry, there's a check here too, in case you want.
Yes, please.
Quality is really good too.
Yeah, I even have this
Don't be shy, don't be
continuation of
shy.
my school days. I got the pozole on there. That's right. Not on my tie, but on the. All right, let's go. Item A, Public Arts Master Plan. Follow up. Okay. Hi.
Hello, sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you, so I just. To follow up on the last presentation that we did was in October, and if I recall correctly, you guys did not meet quorum, so there was only a portion of you. The roles, duties, and powers of the commission. And so I don't know if I can share my screen. Sorry, my computer decided to freeze. And so I've got holes and things over here. Let me see if I can. Well, you guys have the printout, right? And what I was going to show is really the presentation format of it because it's a little bit easier to digest. But I'll just kind of just go through it very quickly since these topics have already been covered. But, you know, basically the background, the city says that all city commissions, the intent is to empower, you all to be more effective and efficient in meeting your responsibilities while enhancing the that basically what this is saying is that, you all.
Now she froze.
Receive funding, it's a volunteer role, and the idea here is just that, you all are providing oversight to the processes that will be put in place via the master plan. Should have a vision statement and a set of bylaws. And we talked about that briefly last time, but this is something that, after interviewing a few of the commissioners, we learned that it sounds like there was a visioning workshop was put together, but nothing was ever really adopted. And it is something that is supposed to happen, and it should be reviewed annually. And since that's not happening,
She's gone.
But we did adopt a vision statement. Yes.
I've asked, Ms. Fullerton, who used to take
Oh, a mission statement.
mission statement.
We have a mission statement. I have it in my notes.
Okay, if you can find it, because I
Yes.
also,
I'm almost positive.
Yeah,
Don't you remember?
yeah,
We
yeah,
went over
yeah.
and over and over. Yes. 'cause
it was before my
I think
time, but
It was the two of us are the only ones who were on
Left.
that. We went over the wording and everything, right? Yes, okay. So we know, there's a
there,
mission statement.
was it adopted, like formally?
I thought it was.
Well, they had,
I'm pretty sure, but
Well, we need to look at it
Yes.
and see if it
yeah,
coincides with some of
yes,
the things
you're-
that they're requesting.
you need
Yeah.
to review it, I know
Definitely.
that
like this, somewhere in my house, I'll look for it this weekend.
She exceeded her.
And I had told Elia, I'm pretty sure I have it, but I forgot. But I should have gotten on that. Yeah, I have that, I know I did.
Let's see if she's in
I
here.
think she's out.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
does.
The one,
I don't have.
the one thing that I'm not very much in tune with, and I don't know how that's gonna work, is the funding that we're going to get are for public fund or public, buildings, et cetera. So, you know, like, when he comes in with this, we are almost, you know, if, unless there is something else, I don't know what she was talking about, that other kind of funding.
The hotel motel taxes,
Hotel mo-
they're also, that we would be requesting some percentage of that or some funding through there to do other.
Yeah, because the thing is that,
Yeah, the hotel occupancy tax allows for some use for arts and culture.
Yeah,
And so the plan is to utilize that, sort of grant,
right.
that can be used for other projects that are not necessarily linked to a CAP project.
And in private properties, I mean,
I still don't think a private property is allowed, because even with the regular use of, and maybe Elia knows of other projects that are happening, but I can tell you of the use that we have, of the regulations that we have for the use of hotel occupancy tax, we're not allowed to use it in private property. I don't know if for arts and culture, there's another provision that allows that, but as far as I know, it's not for that use. But I yield to Elia's expertise.
those and now she can't get back in.
Okay. But I guess we can just go through it at least. She was going through this UP Art Studio draft of 1012.
well, basically, we're gonna have to do more, how do you say,
Right, so we're supposed to have a vision statement and which describes long-term goals, long-range accomplishments.
So is the way that this draft, basically if it gets, who's gonna approve this? Are we gonna approve
Okay,
this?
so
She
the,
is gonna bring it to you,
Okay,
but it does need to be,
and do we have to approve it first before it goes to council, or what?
recommend adopting it,
Okay,
and then it goes to council, but they're the ones who are,
actually, there was a group who worked on it. You and I were in the meetings with the city lawyer of the city. I know we went to some meetings and we worked on this ordinance. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And Mike Bay was there with us and fighting for this, to happen. So I guess what they are recommending are some updates to this ordinance.
Yeah, because I saw the original one.
Yeah.
Very well written.
Yeah.
And then the update, basically, what I saw, I don't know if you guys saw, but there's some things that want to be added, like for instance, on the first one, the definitions. Like they want to put above structure, recreational, sports facilities, trails, plaza, green spaces, and related facilities, so they're just wanting to add more to.
Definitions.
Right. It goes on and says like airport, bridges, roadways. Basically, I guess there was things that weren't put on the original one that they
Yeah.
want to put now on that one. The only thing, I had a couple of questions, but the construction cost, what's that different to like the original?
Includes the total budget for design cost and construction cost.
Okay, so I guess they want to put a design cost to that construction cost to the 2%. So I'm guessing that includes the designer that's gonna design those plans. They want with that 2% budget to go to the designer and the construction, instead of just the construction. Am I reading that correctly? I don't know. Somebody that studied law more than I have could pitch in.
Which one are you saying?
The construction cost.
We're that are part of 17-42.
42.
So those are the definitions. So these are some recommendations to see, because over here it says construction cost means the total city funded portion of the capital improvement project, less demolition costs, equipment costs, normal major maintenance costs, and real property acquisition costs.
Right.
And then over here, they're saying total construction costs for which blah, 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 includes the total budget for design costs
Design cost.
and construction costs.
Right. So right now, like the 2%, I'm guessing somebody has to design that, right? Who's, like those funds come from not the 2%, from somewhere else? Or how does that work? Like for instance, if there's how does that work?
I don't think it was,
So these money come from somewhere
well
else?
thought out.
There she is.
I'm back. I
Okay.
apologize, guys.
They're talking about the ordinance, Celia. Maybe you can clarify some of.
We're going over the
Proposed.
proposed.
Okay. And what was the question?
Like on the construction cost, I know that now it's including the sign cost. I guess what were we do, or how was the commission doing it before? Was it being designed, the design getting from different funds, and then being construction with the 2%, and now they want to put it with the 2%? Or can you like elaborate?
Well,
They want to
if
change?
I understood the question correctly, right now, the way they're taking the way they're calculating it is they are using the design and construction costs.
Oh, okay,
So they haven't done it where they've separated out construction costs.
gotcha.
So that's a good thing. And so, I'm not sure, which page are you looking at?
The second page of your proposed changes.
The second page?
42, yeah, the back page.
Yeah.
Construction cost.
And so we think that, yeah, so we're suggesting that they put that language in that officially designate the
Oh,
design.
okay. Okay, that
So
makes sense.
she's just saying to remove any ambiguity here, she has an explanation.
Gotcha. So basically, right now they're doing it, but it's not official, I guess, put in a document, but it is being they are getting it from the 2% already. Is that correct?
Yes. To where I was before I cut off, I wanted to see if you all would be to create and update the vision and the bylaws, if that's okay with you, Chairman. You know, I think that lined up the way that they're supposed to be, then the better we can set you all up for success. And so would you all be able to vote on that today?
On a vision statement? Is that what you're asking?
That you all will update that vision statement and, you know, maybe it's in the next, maybe it's in the new year, maybe it's sometime in January or, you know, early
I'm
next
gonna
year that
look
you all
for
can
the
have
original.
that work.
Making.
Yeah.
And I told you I was gonna look for that and I didn't, I apologize, but I will, I promise.
We can put it on the agenda for the
Yeah. When we first started.
You can get it to us.
Yeah, I
And then
can,
we can shoot it
I'll
out there.
look for it this weekend. I have a huge folder of stuff, so I can go through that. But I remember we did actually come up with a mission statement.
We
So
talked about
much, yes.
the vision and we talked about objectives.
Yes.
What is the objective?
We did.
What is it that, but we never got to that part. We just
Yeah.
worked on the mission statement.
Right, okay, so we have all those notes and stuff, yeah.
Okay, good. Second thing that I want, we can continue to discuss the ordinance and then I can move back to the second item.
Okay.
Were there any other questions that you all had about the ordinance
Yes,
or about the proposed
Yeah,
changes to the ordinance?
for me, the section 2 commission, I don't know why this wants to be, it needs to be added, but can you elaborate on why is that going to be added, or what are the intentions of that being added?
I can't hear you, Jesse, could you repeat that question?
Yeah, it's, so, going to the commission, section 2. That one, what is the intent of that being added to the current ordinance?
Section.
Amendments, and it's letter F. On the last
Letter
page
F?
of your, yeah. They have a direct
Oh, section 2.
financial
DEF.
interest or conflict of interest.
Oh, so about recusing yourself from a vote?
Right.
Yeah, that's just a common practice that, you know, or they know, you know, the individuals,
Sure.
or not that they know them, but if there's any matters where you have some sort of conflict of interest, then you should recuse yourself.
Be an ordinance that talks to us about those kind of conflicts. We're doing business with them, stuff like that.
Is that we will, you know, one of the things that they'll change is the change from the director of the library department to the department where, you know, we'll leave it vague to where the department director that's selected by the city manager. Why that may change, and that's why we're kind of keeping it a little bit vague. But we are suggesting the director brief and confer with the commission monthly. Should first be brought to you all to, you know, for your input, review, and your recommendations. And then the commission and the community relationships and, you know, all of the support of the work of the public art program. You know, again, your the artist selection process, project selection, site selection, all of those types of things. There was the, you know, existing wording on the ordinance has caused some confusion about what your powers and duties are. And so that role can't be filled by the commission, but the commissioners can only review and recommend. And so, that's what and then, let's see what else. And so another thing too is that Commission can actively work to identify and utilize additional funding sources for public art outside of the city budget. That way, when things come up, like with, Tony today presenting that idea of CIP, or, the once or twice a year grants that'll come out, through the hot funds.
Would
So,
they consider
so that's
assigning,
something that, we just
grant writer to our commission? Did you hear me?
what was that?
Commission? And it was somebody that
That
they
would be a
would
question
pay.
for them. I can't answer that question.
Okay, well, if they're asking us to do this, that we could, that the city would pay to actively go out there and tap every public art source out there. I understand from previous presentations that we've had, not only for the arts, that they have what stood in the way is having a grant writer to be able to dot all the i's and cross all the t's.
Yeah, and I think one of the, when there is, to actively seek out other sources of funding, but I think it would be great for them to also connections, your relationships with, others and, maybe organizations that maybe have not contributed to public art in the past, that maybe would, now knowing that there's a master.
We have a grant writer in the city, Arnold Lozano, and he's a grant writer. He's under the Economic Development Department. We are, it's planned to seek the National Endowment for the Arts. We've met with them every year for several years now, every time we go to Washington. And so we're really excited that this time around we actually have the public art master plan and something a little bit more specific to ask funds for. Are in DC for legislative. So right now we have access as we grow the arts and culture team. That would be a great asset to have. So we will certainly put that in the list of actively and continuously look for grants for arts and culture.
Any other questions about the ordinance?
Yes, well, not the, just real quick, can a commissioner contribute monies to the art program? Is that possible under? Like, could I do that, like, being a part of the commission, or is that not possible?
You know what, I would have to get back to you on that, I'm not sure. Could you?
Right.
I don't see why.
Right, I don't see why not, but I just have to ask, you know.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody, you know, anybody could contribute.
Public art, I mean,
Yeah,
What was that?
but I mean, it does say here, right, like, grants, contributions and partners for public art.
so.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't, I just
They
want
fall into
these.
those categories.
I know
I think
the
that,
banks-
I think that you could, but it's just a matter of like figuring out how the funding flows and
Or where
then
would that go
does
to?
it still go through that
Yeah.
same selection
Yeah.
process and, you know, all of that. And that's what I'm not 100% sure on, but I'll look into that and get back to you guys.
Okay.
I know that the banks are required to have endowments, and I met the lawyer for the Falcon, Mr. Kennedy. And I asked him if he would consider funding when I was with VMT.
Right.
And he says, let me look into it because by law, they have to, all the banks.
Yeah.
But they have, you know, their own people that they,
Yes.
Right.
maybe we can approach the banks and say,
Yeah.
Yeah, the banks, that came up a lot in the community engagement, both in the one-on-one interviews and in the survey. People definitely feel like, you know, everybody knows that the banks usually have community development funds or, you know, give back to the community type funds. And so the banks are definitely a good source. IBC was mentioned a lot.
Yes, because they do.
Any other questions?
This is not an action item, right? It's not.
No,
a-
it's just a
Okay,
presentation.
thank you.
Agree with the changes that we've outlined, then you all could take action to approve those changes. And, you know, or you can have more time to review and ask questions if you prefer. But this is what we're putting into the master plan. And so we're like literally finalizing it like tonight, tomorrow, like it'll be done, at least the first draft will. But, you know, it'll still be, by the time it goes to the city for review, will probably be next week, early next week. And then, you know, we'll still have a period of, you know, to do final edits and all of that. So, you know, if you all have any other comments, you know, or you want more time to review that, just let me know. But if not, then we should probably,
Item, it's just a presentation right now, but we can certainly put it
Well, if
next.
you're taking it to the city, I don't think there's any problem with it, but in terms of formally taking action on it, if the council takes action, then
Of supersede.
that supersedes us, so.
do we
You
need,
have our blessing.
and yeah, do we need to have the mission?
you need to have it what?
Revised, our mission statement, the one that we have?
No,
No.
not before the plan is adopted, but, you know, that's one of the recommendations that is in the plan.
Right.
So just something that we want you to be aware of and that you should plan for sooner rather
Our
than later.
next meeting,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
Excuse me, y'all. But,
We still
Do we-
have to work.
We still,
are we gonna vote on anything? Okay. Well, happy
Bye.
holidays, you all, and if
Thank
you all
you.
get up
Enjoy.
soon, we'll
See you
get
in a while.
center right now.
See you in a little bit.
Bye.
What's going on at the center?
Jesse is having
It's,
it open.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a little show of artworks from the printmaking.
Oh, that's right, he mentioned that the last time he was here, yes, yes.
Moving on to Roman numeral. Location, costs, and funding sources.
This item was brought forth by Mr. Flores.
yes. So, I've kind of talked to Commissioner and, we've kind of discussed, a couple of locations and just wanted to get you, ideas from the council. They had discussed, the underpass under the Columbia Bridge, maybe doing like an art mural or something underneath there with like lights and, maybe some murals. And I believe they've already talked to TechStop and they might be on board. of doing that. So I really wanted to see if, since there isn't really a mural yet in District 7, or as far as I know, you know, if you know, where the district could have the opportunity. You know, the underpass that goes underneath or towards the Columbia Bridge. It's in Mines Road.
Oh, the one Mines Road?
Yeah, Mines Road.
Across it.
That's the one.
Oh, okay. I guess I haven't been out to Columbia in
Yeah,
quite a
it's
while.
pretty far.
We missed an item, Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
The executive summary, and she's telling me that she's gonna discuss potential sites for the CIP. I don't know if that would cover Mr. Flores' item, Elia?
It is TxDOT property.
It's
So
federal.
Oh, it is text dot property, it's not CIP, it needs to be
Or
city
state.
property.
State.
For text dot property, the funding, District 7, she has a little bit left. She's
Right.
got, I think, $10,000 left in her budget, so that might be something that you can talk to the council member about. She is
Right.
talking about Mines Road, she feels very strongly about that.
Right.
So I think that you could get her support on it. I mean, I can't promise that, but I think that she would be a good source for that.
Right.
Will that be the one that is crossing Mines Road or the one that is crossing 35?
It's the one crossing Mines Road. So it's in Mines Road. There's the underpass towards Columbia Bridge.
Wait,
Again,
are you
it's-
talking about World Trade Bridge?
No, not World Trade Bridge. It's
Columbia, so it's farther out.
yes. No, it's no, not Columbia Bridge. Sorry, I'm thinking of it.
World Trade Bridge.
It might be World Trade Bridge.
Yeah, the bridge, it's the, World Trade. I
Yes,
was-
sorry, I got confused.
I was gonna say, who's gonna
Who's
see
gonna
that?
go 13 miles out?
And I don't remember there being an overpass, but yes, it's World Trade Bridge, I work out there every day,
Yes.
yes. Yeah,
That's
that's
the
an
one.
awesome place
Right?
too, I agree,
That one,
Really
there's also
great
different
place.
parks and,
yeah.
you know, there's opportunity, but definitely, I think, since there isn't a mural in District 7 yet, it would be good.
And they're doing a lot of construction there right now
Yeah.
because they're doing the,
I'm sorry, but we can barely hear.
oh,
This
we're
is
just
what you're saying.
No, we're just discussing.
We're discussing what he was talking about of, doing some kind of, art installation or a mural. That's what we were talking about, because it's a highly used area.
Right.
And yeah, it would be great to have some art there.
And Elia, are the commissioners' monies specific to art, or are they all just contingency budget for her? Do you know, Elia? So,
I think they're not.
Can someone repeat the question?
yeah, is the current 10? I think I don't know how much money she has, to be honest with you, but is that specific?
That's for
No,
art.
That's for art.
It's for art,
Was assigned in 2019, the 2% that they.
Got you.
Oh,
Okay.
So she has that
Okay, so
left
she has
after
10,000.
partially paying for the master plan.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we have somewhat of a budget, but to start talking about where that art mural will be would be great. That way I could kind of, you know, talk to her and see where there'll be, 'cause if she does have 10,000 for an art mural, it would be good to, you know,
That's probably not enough, but.
no, not for the underpass, I don't think nowhere. So
But
that, at least
something
something,
maybe,
right, yeah, something, to get the District 7 started with somewhat of
But is there a place that's the city owned?
That's what I don't know, and I would like to know if maybe staff, you guys know of, you know, the different properties that the city owns. That way we can look at.
Around there
Yeah.
aren't any.
There, nothing?
Not at that particular intersection.
Okay, is there maybe a
It's
park?
Texas.
There was some
Highway.
that she was gonna recommend that in the executive summary, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Isn't Father McEnroe
That's the picture, but there's no walls there that I know of.
There's the Baskin Recreation Center, I don't know.
Right.
I don't even know where that is.
Yeah, we all need to go to the first tour.
I mean, I go out there every day, all I see is. But, yeah.
I think that recreation center is kind of behind the Carmel apartments, but
Oh, I
on
think
the
it
other
is.
side,
Oh.
yeah, you have to go behind
Okay.
Carmel. But
Not too visible. But there is, well, there's a lot of construction there right now.
Right. So if we could see maybe different properties the
Yeah.
city owns, that'd be great.
Well,
That's
I'm
good.
pretty sure that there are containment walls in that overpass. that
Yeah,
can
there
be
are.
used in order to be able to.
But what Texas, they have their own designs that they put on those
Yeah.
Right.
And-
retaining walls and their
yeah,
own.
and this one allows.
You know, like when you go to the airport down Clark, how they put really cute, like, deer and cactus and stuff on the
Right.
sides of that.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, state. I don't know who decides that.
That's
Yeah,
just
that'd be
State.
like that.
Yeah. But, I mean, it would be great if they would. They haven't really done anything like that in all of the construction that they've done so
Right.
far.
And you know, we have a lot of underpasses in Laredo, so.
I know, and more every day now out there.
So,
But yeah,
what kind of funds, what kind of funds do they use for all those murals that they have done in different cities?
don't they have to go through?
What was the question?
Oh.
Who funds all the old underpass murals that are in different cities in Texas? Are those also?
Well, they're done in different ways. You know, each one's unique. We've personally have done some in Houston. You know, one of them that we did was funded by the American Planning Association. The APA was doing a conference here in Houston, and they hired us to, you know, do some sort of community-oriented project, and we chose an underpass painting project. And it was supposed to be 75 volunteers helping to paint it, but it turned out that coronavirus hit, and then we ended up having to do it on our own. But they funded it along with, there's a management district there as well that, you know, contributed funding for it as well. There's another one that an underpass that we did, or that we consulted on, the lighting and painting of an underpass. And with that one, there was a CHERS in that area. You have the city that will fund it themselves. So there's really no like just one way of doing it. There's a lot of different ways that you can get there.
I think lighting would be great there, like some kind of installation, light installation. And
What was that,
maybe
Gail? You cut out.
I said, I think lighting would be great there, like a light installation, or maybe even some painting underneath, you know? But lighting, I love the lighting because, you know, I don't know, it's different, you know, and it brings a lot of color. You can do a lot of different things. I really think that would be great there.
Yeah, there's a
showed
lot
us
of
that.
things.
Did she
Yes,
show
she
it?
did.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I
They're
think that would be a project that
And
would be
very
great.
different, I think,
Yeah.
very, I don't know.
they have something like that.
Bill Fitzgibbon was the artist for that, I
Yes,
believe.
beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That San Antonio project, just so you know, that Bill Fitzgibbons one was $250,000 for that one
Yeah.
underpass.
Have
He
the budget of the
he
city.
just won an award or something for something else that he's doing, I just read.
Now, we've done it for less than that, just so you
Yeah.
know, we've done it for about half that,
Yeah.
by working directly with a Phillips lighting designer,
Oh,
as opposed to working with an artist like Bill.
yeah.
And that's one way to kind of, it's still a high cost, but it's not as, you know, it's about half
Of course,
the
I like
price.
the more
If you do it that way.
unattainable right now.
Well, I'm having trouble sharing my screen. Angie and Maria, I sent you the file. I don't know if you guys would be able to open it. But, and we can mail out the email to everyone. But basically, what we did was we took the projects that are, that are being worked on as part of the CIP in each district. And then we suggested types of artwork, or whether we thought, yeah, maybe that one's not a good project to try to do this with. And so we really wanted to get you all's idea, or you guys' thoughts on which of these would be priorities, because they can't all get done.
Right.
Because there's not enough funding to do art like all of them.
Right.
But if we could prioritize which ones would be the most important ones in each district, that's what we were hoping to do today. I'm not able to share my screen, even though Angie gave me, every time I try to share it just freezes. So if they're not able to, I emailed the file, if they can't open it, then we'll just email it to you guys, and then, I don't know if it's allowable to have a discussion via email, and if not, then we can discuss it at the next meeting.
Elia, do you have any engineer's estimate for any of these type of projects? Like, estimates in cost, as far as like, for instance, like you said, the lighting for an underpass can go between 150 to 250, right? Maybe if we had something like that, so we could have somewhat of a budget in engineers. Thinking hats together to where the money should go, what types of projects we want to do as a commission, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we could, we don't have that in the master plan, but I think it's something that we could work with you all to develop that. Or we could develop some.
Yeah.
What to expect in terms of pricing and budgeting, but we don't have that in the master plan.
But that would be great, just for us, for the knowledge to have, right? So that we know what we're thinking about or looking at. If we had that, it would be great. I know she can't hear me.
Like the going rate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's somewhat, of a going rate of what it costs.
That makes sense.
Okay, is there anything else we need to discuss on that item? Okay. So going on to, the last item is scheduling for the next meeting.
Have it for January 20th?
No.
What?
Oh, because I'm leaving. It's my birthday, the 21st, and I'm flying to Oakland to be with my son.
We could move it to the 27th, the next Thursday. if you
Yeah,
want. And that's my birthday. So
Oh.
I'll be.
Oh, will there be a birthday party? Okay. Because it was just a whim, and I said, I'm going to spend my birthday with you all in Oakland. Because they can't come for Christmas, so. I don't know,
27th?
you all decide.
Yeah.
Bring you a birthday cake.
Right before the 28th?
Absolutely.
No, right before what?
The
Right before the 28th?
For ages.
What's in the
Usually
28th?
it's
What's
on the calendar.
28th?
That's a Friday, that's a Friday.
Oh.
The next Thursday is the 27th.
No, all I said is before the 28th,
Before the
the
28th,
27th.
yes, the 27th is before the
I
28th.
mean,
So,
I second.
my third.
all right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elia.